All right, so the Pharisees bring this woman, and my heart just breaks for her, to the middle of the court. They bring her, they made her stand. This is John chapter 8, verse 3. Made her stand in the middle of the court and put the case before him. So that this woman is standing in front of the crowds. She's in the middle of the court, near Jesus, right? Because we read in a moment, he's close enough to speak. He's close enough to talk to her. Woo! Jesus, that just washed over me. Jesus is close enough to talk to this woman. So they've got her standing there in the middle of the courts, and they make the case. They tell exactly what they know. I mean, could you imagine how this woman feels? So, in the temple court, it's crowded, and they made her stand in the middle of the court. She is being made a spectacle. Such shame, guilt, and condemnation. And these religious leaders say, Moses in the law commands that we stone her. Law equals death. But what do you say, Jesus? What do you say? And again, John 1:17 says, while the law was given through Moses, grace, unearned, undeserved favor and spiritual blessing, and truth came through Jesus Christ. So let's look for grace and truth. And Jesus, and he knows they're trying to test him, right? They're trying to find where he transgresses against the law or teaches falsely so they can trap him. So Jesus stooped down, wrote on the ground with his finger. But they persisted in their question. He raised himself up and said, let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone. And he bent down, went on writing on the ground with his finger, and they listened to him. And then they began going out, conscience stricken, one by one, from the oldest down to the last one of them, until Jesus was left alone with the woman standing there before him in the center of the court. She is still standing there in the center of the court, where these self-righteous men have absolutely berated her and shamed her and made a spectacle of her, condemned her to death. And Jesus is there. And so what? This is beautiful. That while religion and while self-righteous people condemn and throw stones and you're not doing it right, you'll never be good enough, look at all you've done, look at how many laws you broke, this is what the law says we should do to you. Jesus is standing right there. He never leaves this woman's side. And, you know, I've always thought that was the grace part, where he said, in verse 10, he raised himself up and said to her, woman, where are your accusers? Has no man condemned you? And he says, neither do I. You know, I really thought I've always thought that was the grace. You know, he gave her another chance, right? He didn't condemn her like everybody else did. But in reading and in praying and in light of what we've studied about grace, that it is a kindling of us. It is a staying power. It is an empowerment. Remember, blessing is enabling to prosper, and empowerment. And from our definition from Sayers, that it is his influence on us that turns us to Christ, that keeps us, strengthens us, increases us in knowledge and affection, and fuels us to live a life like Jesus. That's grace. It's empowering. Truth is freeing, right? John 8:32, Jesus says, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you, make you, the King James says, free. And so tomorrow we're going to tie all this together and put, Holy Spirit's going to tie it together and put a bow on it, and it's just going to wash over us. All right, I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.